Hi, I'm your host, Anand J. Sukadia, and this is the Limitless One podcast. Join me on this journey as I interview the most inspirational souls who are tapping into their limitless blueprint on a mental, physical, and spiritual level to thrive in uncertain times. If you feel you are so much more than just this body, just this life, and want to tap into your limitless potential, you're in the right place. Here we go, starseeds. Are you aware that EMF, Wi-Fi, and 5G frequencies are bombarding our bodies every single second? And those forces deteriorate the quality and structural integrity of each one of our cells. Today, we are going to learn all about those dangers of electromagnetic frequencies and offer a technology that restructures it into a harmonizing, balancing field that optimizes our overall health and well-being. Welcome to the Limitless One podcast, Starseeds. I am your host, Anand J. Sukadia. Today, we have a very special man who is fighting back against EMF pollutants. Juraj Kocar is an endless optimist with a passion to build and grow projects with meaning. Right now, he is the CEO of his dream project, Somavedic, a functional and broadly accessible frequency therapy device that harmonizes the negative effects of EMF in our bodies. It's designed on the principle of controlled release of energy from minerals, combining with an Eastern medicine approach with frequency therapy technology in one device. Somavedic is helping people in the office and home environment to have more energy, mental clarity, and focus during the day. Welcome to the podcast, Juraj. How are you?
Doing great, Alan. Thank you for having me.
It's so wonderful to have you. So the way that I start all the podcasts is by asking my favorite question. What does living a limitless life mean to you?
Wow, a limitless life. So for me, currently, that would be, doing the projects that I love, working with people, traveling around the world, and without restrictions. So fulfilling my dreams and visions. That would be on a global scale. That would be the definition of it. Yes.
Beautiful. Choice and freedom. I love it. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you got started with Somavedic.
Yes, so my background is in IT. I studied at the university, got an IT degree, but during my university studies, I got sick, high blood pressure, cholesterol, brain fog, and you name it. It was mainly because of my lifestyle and everything. But then the doctors just wanted to give me some pills, basically for the rest of my life, and I was not fine with that. So I started the self-healing journey. I was educating myself on various topics and diet and supplementation and everything. And so this took me quite some time, a few years basically, to find the right spot that was working for me, the right diet that was able, basically thanks to that, I was able to get rid all of the symptoms that I had. And when I healed, after that, I had this urge, this calling that I would like to help as many people as possible on their health and wellness journey. I was not doing that. I had the regular jobs after my studies, but I always was attracted to helping people after that.
Yeah, beautiful. Very similar to my journey. I was an entrepreneur in all different types of fields, but in my heart, it was screaming, help people holistically through all these different type of modalities. And it was only after an experience with ayahuasca. I don't know if you know what ayahuasca is, but
Sure.
A psychedelic experience that it showed me the path that I have to go on this journey. Otherwise, I will feel a lot of regret like later on in my life. So I love the fact that you kind of like pivoted into that. So tell us a little bit about the company history and the mission of Somavedic.
Yes, sure, sure. So the Somavedic was established in 2010 in April, 2011 in April. So and it originally, like my very good friend is the founder, Ivan, and he, again, his story was very similar. He was also struggling with his health. Doctors were not able to help him, so he started to study Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine, different healing properties of precious stones and minerals. And after some time, he was able to heal himself. So he started to help other people, family and friends. That was helping as well. He's like a mathematician and IT guy as well, so he's no doctor or anything like that, but what he learned was basically helping other people as well. And eventually he had that idea to put together a product that would be the culmination of his knowledge and experience. So that was the idea behind Somavedic, to build a product that would mitigate some causes of illness and sickness, that would mitigate the effects of EMF, electromagnetic radiation, and geopathic zones. So yeah, and since the very beginning, the first models were working really well, and yeah, so since then we basically are exporting to the whole world.
Amazing. Now, what was it inspired by? Is there any other technology out there that was doing something like this, or was it inspired by, say, like the frequency generator is a fascinating technology to me. So, like, how did he combine? Because as a mathematician, there's not a lot of mathematicians out there that are working with stones and crystals and all this kind of stuff. So, like, it's an amazing like confluences of like research and knowledge.
Yes, yes. So, when I talked to him about this topic or when I asked him about this, he said, I didn't do anything. I just had this flow or intuition or, to do this and that. And I was just observing my hands, like doing something. But in terms of, so the Somavedic is based on precious stones and minerals and precious metals that are inside, like physically inside, together with the frequency therapy technology. So until then, or even now, there is no such product that is like combining these two approaches. This holistic health and wellness, let's say the Eastern approach to health and wellness with Western technology. But there was, as behind any other product, there was an R&D behind it. He had to experiment a bit to use different gemstones, different energy amplifiers. But he was quite successful with it, because thanks to the initial intuition. But of course, he was testing it against bioresonance devices, which are devices that can measure the levels of EMF, the state of your organs, and everything. So, and he measured it with 5 different bioresonance devices, and all of them were showing great results.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool. Yeah. I've had some experience with bioresonance, and I know it's been used for a very long time. I believe it was started in Russia, right? If that's correct?
Yes. Russian and Germans are the biggest producers of bioresonance devices.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's based on the premise that our field is an entire our body is an electromagnetic field, and once you send a signal, you're able to get a return signal. So you're able to see if there's any issues going along the energy channels of the body. So very cool. What do you love most about running this company?
Well, this gets me back to the, back to the calling that I had. So, when I was like I had a job in the AR startup incubator, connecting startups and with investors. But again, I was drawn to the helping people, and I was visiting a friend of mine, and he had like these glowing colorful lamps all over his place. So I asked him like, what is that? And he told me a few stories, what a Somavedic is, what it does, and few interesting stories. And then immediately it just clicked, and I knew like, this is it, this is what I want to do. I always had this calling, and this is a product that could basically help me help people on a global scale, because it's a product you can basically deliver it to the whole world. So this is what drives me and what fulfills me, and on top of that, what fulfills me and again and drives me is the feedback that we are getting from the emails that I'm reading. Because when people write you an email that after so many years I had finally I had the best sleep ever, or my migraines are gone, or my brain fog is gone, so this is something that just fulfills you, and you have a really good feeling about that.
Yeah, beautiful. So my life is very much guided by intuition and synchronicity. I see it everywhere. So I want to share the story about how I learned about your company. So it was about 2 months ago. I was meeting a good friend of mine for lunch, and I was a little bit late. So I got there, and he's sitting there, and he's talking to some guy who's taking his food out, and they were just in deep in conversation. And my friend Eric, he's like, "You got to meet this guy, Mike." So Mike, I think it was like 3 years ago, he started feeling really sick, and he got like all these issues, and he went to 40 different doctors over the course of several years, and nobody could diagnose him. They did Lyme disease tests and all this kind of stuff. Nobody knew what was going on. He eventually ended up being so crippled, and he was in a wheelchair, and he couldn't even be around phones or anything like that. And he went to his final medical doctor, and the doctor's like, "Listen, there's nothing wrong with you. You have a psychological issue. We're gonna have to refer you to a like a psychiatrist or whatever." And he was so disheartened, but then he just kept going, found some holistic people, met one person, made a whole loop around different circles, and he finally met somebody that was able to help him through Chinese herbology. So as he was getting better, he remembered he couldn't sleep at night because he was having a lot of parasite die off. And around that time, he couldn't be around any electronics. He couldn't even be next to a cell phone or a computer in a room. Otherwise, he would start feeling nauseous. Mm-hmm. So he ended up finding out about the Somavedic, and he started using it. And he said, "My goodness, that was like a godsend for me." So I learned about this. I had him on my podcast a couple of months ago, and I was like so intrigued. So I write it on my calendar. Okay, reach out to Somavedic, on the next Monday or whatever it was. And I kid you not, your team member, Berenica, she reaches out to me saying that she heard about my wellness center, Om Life in Jersey City, through somebody that works with you guys, Luis and Nicola. And it was like so funny. I'm like, this person was on my list, or not specifically her, but just the company in general. And it just happened that she was able to connect. You guys were able to generously send us some devices, and I started plugging them in. And it was funny. I'll share you a little bit about my experience. So
Sure.
I'm a biohacker. I'm all about living a limitless life. I want the best results, mind, body, spirit, everything I can do to get that extra edge. So she sent us the Vedic, which is the new device that you guys have, and we'll go into that, and then the Amber. So I plugged both of them in the same, same vicinity. So it was so powerful. So we started noticing the first week, we'll be very honest, it was like an adjustment period. So when I plugged both those devices in, I had an off day. So I just felt like really tired. I slept like pretty much like 3-4 hours. My girlfriend was also like, she couldn't focus on work or whatever. I guess because there was so much energy going on in the room. And then we spoke to Berenica, and she's like, "Okay, just use one at a time." And then, we moved the other one into the wellness center, because I wanted to see how it is before, started to talk about it. And then over that course of that week, we started just feeling every day a little bit better. First couple nights were a little bit tough to fall asleep very quickly. There was a lot of thoughts and stuff like that going through our minds. But then as we had it on, we just kept noticing things were a lot better. There was a calmer energy in the area in our home, in apartment. We have a 2-bedroom. The plants were started doing a little bit better. Just overall, we were in a great mood. We were getting up like at 5 a.m, like no issues. Once the alarm goes off, we're up and we're ready to go. So it's really interesting to experience it. And, we've also have it at our wellness center. And then a lot of our clients were going up to our lounge. We were telling them about it, and they would just sit there and meditate like about 10-15 minutes around it. Cause like when you put your hands up next to it, like you can start feeling the vibration coming off of it. So that was our experience, and it's been about, I think, 3 weeks now that we've been using it, but it's just getting better and better. And we'll go into the benefits of all this stuff in detail, because I really want to hear from you. But it's just been the most amazing product to add into, a biohacker's home.
Yeah, thank you, Alan, for sharing this. I mean, even when you share the story of the friend or the guy that you interviewed, this is the reason why we are doing it. We have so many like amazing experiences, and yes, what you are describing were like adaptation period or detox symptoms that just happens, that it's not with everybody. There's about 20 to 30% of our customers are experiencing like detox symptoms, that usually sometimes it's hours, sometimes it's just 1 to 3 days. But because when the body is in its home environment and all of a sudden the whole energy changes, mm-hmm. It needs to adapt and reorganize, but it's for the better for sure. I just when you mentioned that you were tired, I mean, it was like 2 weeks ago. I got 2 emails, independent emails, that a lady or ladies bought the Somavedic, and they basically plugged it in at home, and their husbands fall asleep like immediately, and they said like, wow, this never happened, so they become tired and fall asleep. So but I mean, everything was well. It was just very unusual for them to see it. So this is always, this is something that just sometimes happen, but it's just part of the energy healing process.
Yeah. So do you have any tips for anyone once they start first plugging in the device? Would you suggest that there's anything they can do to kind of like help with those detox symptoms?
Drinking a lot of water. Usually, our bestseller is the Vedic, the green one, and that one is also structuring the water, making it more bioavailable for our bodies, improving hydration. So when you place a jug of water next to it, in 15-20 minutes it will be structured. So just drinking the structured water should be enough. And if you still feel that it's too strong, then just unplug it. It's still working because the core of the Somavedic, the principle is on the amplified energies and frequencies of the precious stones and minerals. So it doesn't need electricity or a USB cable to work. It's still working, but it's a bit weaker. So yes, these 2 things usually help.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I have to connect you with this guy, Mike, that I interviewed, because he has to tell you his experience in more detail. It's really amazing. And then my friend Eric, who was also there, who I was having lunch with, he ended up buying it right there at lunch, like on his phone, and he got it. And he said his wife was having so many issues sleeping prior to plugging this thing in, like for years, and she sleeps better than she has ever had. So that's another amazing testimonial that.
Thank you for sharing it. Like we have, like sleep improvement is the number one thing, or the most frequent feedback that we are getting from our customers is the improvement of sleep. So this is basically what you are saying is just confirming it. Yes. Yeah,
for sure. So there's always going to be like skeptics out there. Oh, it's just a device, like you plug in, how much can it really do? let's do a deep dive into some of the proven benefits of this technology. So first, I want to kind of like set a background. Let's go over what are really the effects of cell phone radiation, EMFs, Wi-Fi, and how does it really attack our body?
Yes. So where to start?
Yeah.
So the EMF, as I think like lots of people know, from there's of course for phones to work, they have to be like constantly radiating something, emitting frequencies. For our laptops to work, they need Wi-Fi routers in general, and we need BTS towers. So these invisible frequencies that are like omnipresent everywhere and are like going through our bodies, they have and there are like hundreds of studies showing it, that they have like a negative effect on our cells. If I put it in a very like easily digestible way, what on a cellular level the EMFs are doing is basically creating free radicals, which is starting the speed of how the cells are aging. So this is what it is doing. But amongst other things, is interfering with our brain waves. So we don't have such a good sleep. Is lowering the fertility. It's the plants are not growing that fast near to a Wi-Fi router. So there are like lots of examples that we can find how the EMFs are negatively affecting the living beings. So yeah, it's not very common knowledge, but it is true.
Yeah, we're being bombarded, especially if you live in a city. They've put up so many, especially in the areas that we live. I'm right across the river from New York City, so many 5G towers going up. So we're constantly getting like this blanket of electromagnetic fields from every single direction. And, it leads to a lot of issues. Like, I think that this has helped me, the Somavedic. I've had a lot of like stiff joints because I work out a lot as well. And then being bombarded by electromagnetic stuff, I'm always on my computer, so it's on my lap, and then I have my phone on me. So there's all these things do affect us on so many subtle levels, not just from a postural point of view, but also from these frequencies that are attacking us all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then in terms of like, how do we age faster? It's those free radicals. So right. So like that's why we want to take in antioxidants and absorb as many negatively charged ions as possible. And Somavedic, actually, that frequency is sending out antioxidants, anti-aging benefits to you by increasing the amount of negatively charged ions in the area.
Yeah. That's one of the things. So what studies we've done so far on with the Somavedic is that a German study is showing the increased speed of cell regeneration. So they took the human cells in lab conditions because they needed to compare it in a non-EMF environment, which is basically like a non-existing environment, but they just for the sake of measurements, they put it in the non-EMF environment, like shielded environment. Then in a normal lab conditions with the EMF, the current environment that we are in. And then they put in the normal lab environment Somavedic next to it. And they were measuring the speed of cell regeneration. And you can see like the direct correlation and differences between non-EMF, EMF and EMF with Somavedic. So this is one study that is showing how the Somavedic is affecting our cells in an EMF environment, which means like our normal environment. Then we have studies from Prague showing how it's improving HRV, heart rate variability. On top of that, well, it's not a study, but people are sending us screenshots of their Aura rings, how their deep sleep improved and everything. So it is, on a we can measure the effects of Somavedic. So the HRV, the length and quality of sleep, people feel more in peace, more rested. So this is what the doctors measured. So yeah, these are just few examples that are showing how Somavedic is its effects on like in a normal, let's say, EMF environment.
Yeah, one of the things I love most about your company is because I know a lot of people in the holistic space, but you guys are really focused on making sure that everything that you're doing is provable, because you talk to a lot of holistic people and they're like, oh yeah, this works and this works, but they're not really backing it up. You guys are scientists and you're providing the data, and that's not very common in this field of holistic wellness.
Yeah. I mean, we try. I mean, we try to do our best because we know that it's working. We get it basically from customers on everyday level, how the Somavedic is helping. And what we are doing, we are just trying getting the measurements done on a cellular level or biomarker level to see actually what is really going on in our bodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. So I also noticed, in addition to the heart rate variability, there's some information on cardiovascular and nervous system improvements from using the Somavedic.
Yes. So that was done. So yes, the blood pressure. Mm-hmm. There was there's a study showing improvements in blood pressure, but not only lowering the blood pressure, but with patients that had low blood pressure, it increased. So like a normalization of blood pressure. So yeah, this is some of the data we have.
Very cool. Yeah, and then also this is something I never knew about, but geopathic zones is also another overall determinant on our health, and it could be negative and also positive depending on where you live and especially where you sleep. Can you tell us a little bit about what geopathic zones are and how the Somavedic, kind of like reharmonizes that?
Yes. So geopathic zones, they are not that. I mean, it's improving, but they are not that known in, let's say, the modern society. But yeah. For example, Chinese know them for thousands of years. Amongst other things, they are called the dragon veins. And in general, it can be tectonic plates like touching each other, and with the movement there's the friction and vibration surfacing. But most of the time the geopathic zones are caused by flowing rivers below the surface. So if there's a flowing river, the flow and everything again is causing vibration that is surfacing. And if you have, for example, bed on top of such geopathic zone, it is negatively affecting your health. The scientists were like doing experiments with this, and when they moved patients away from geopathic zones, all of a sudden their health start improving immediately without any other changes. So this is one of the things that Somavedic is mitigating, are these geopathic zones. And the way how you can find geopathic zones is by dowsers, but with dowsing, like dowsing or dowsers, they usually help you to find wells, where you want to dig a well, but they also can help you find new geopathic zones.
Yeah, and they run off of magnetics, right? The dowsing rods. Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah, like, so I had a couple of people ask me questions, some of the clients that just recently purchased. So what is the optimal space to put the device inside your home?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question and a common one. So in general, the field of Somavedic is about 100 feet radius, like up, down, left, right. penetrating walls and floors. You can think of it as a Wi-Fi router, but in a good way, that it creates sort of a protective, coherent bubble. And the field is large enough to cover a whole apartment. So the ideal placement for a Somavedic would be somewhere in the middle of the apartment or home. Usually it's living room or kitchen, where you can place the structured water next to it. What we don't recommend placing the Somavedic for the first days is in the bedroom, because it can be too strong, and it can, during the adaptation, it can influence your sleep.
Interesting. And then the other question this person had was like, okay, if you're planning on traveling, she wants to take it with her. So what would be the best way to get through like TSA and the airport security without causing like a ruckus?
Yes. So, I mean, I used to travel in Orlando and in San Francisco. It was a few months ago, Orlando, and 2 years ago in San Francisco. I was traveling with the Somavedic. So first of all, it is fragile. It's from crystal glass. The corpus is made from crystal glass, is hand-blown glass. Each Somavedic is hand-blown, so it's like an original, old Asian masters are basically doing it. So you have to be careful when traveling with it, but it has a USB cable, so you can plug it into power bank or anything. So just be careful with covering it with some kind of a cloth or a shirt or something like that. But yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, great. And then take us through some of the different models that you guys have. We particularly have the Amber and the Vedic models here, as well as the Harmony for more like small spaces and cars. But if you could tell us a little bit some about the most popular ones that people get.
Sure. So there are two basic differentiations between our models. It's the water structuring capabilities that we've talked about already, and 5G effects mitigation. That means if it's strong enough to mitigate the 5G effects. So and there are filters that you can choose on our webpage, but. So the bestseller and the most versatile unit we have, the best power, the power money ratio is the Vedic. It has 5G effect mitigation. It has the water structuring capabilities, and again, is the bestseller. It's more than 65% of orders are for that specific model. Then one level higher, or let's say even so, there's the top of the line, like it's called the Ember. That is the one that you have. That is about 4 times stronger as the Vedic, and it's designed really for city centers. As you are saying, corporate buildings, city centers, 5G towers around. So this is the top of the line. Then let's say below the Vedic, there's the model Sky, and it has almost the same strength as the Vedic, but it's not structuring the water, which means it is cheaper. Of course, it's cheaper. And for travels, there's the Harmony. That is designed, it's smaller unit that is designed for cars and hotels.
Very cool. So question for you. So in terms of, you said the Amber is 4 times stronger. Does that mean it has a radius of a longer distance, or within
this is the same? Yes. So sorry to interrupt. Yes. So the radius with the standard models is the same with all of them. It's the field that is creating it's stronger. What I have to say, what we didn't mention is that Somavedic is not blocking the EMF. If you would take an EMF meter, you would measure the same levels of EMF in your home after and before Somavedic. But what it is doing is that is creating that feel that on a cellular level, your body is not responding that much to the EMF effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's harmonizing the environment. It's basically restructuring that
Yes,
particular EMF.
yes.
Yeah. Very cool. And yeah, so I noticed you guys are a very high integrity company with a beautiful mission, and you're doing it holistically to work on root causes of all these things. So I noticed, like, when people purchase, you have a 5-year warranty. Is that for most models? All models?
Yes, the 5 years warranty is for all models. So in general, usually you get a 1 year or 2 year warranty on your product, that if something goes wrong, they'll just exchange it or fix it. So we have a 5-year warranty. That means if one of the LEDs goes off or there's something wrong, we'll just exchange the product like 1 for 1 and you'll get a new one. So that's what the 5-year warranty means, because we just basically believe in the product. But what is, I would say, even more important, that we have a 60-day money back guarantee. Because some people still can be hesitant and are not sure if it would help them or not, so we want to make sure that everybody, has the opportunity to try it out. So they have basically 2 months to test it out, and if they don't see any benefits, they can return it, and basically we'll give them the full refund.
Yeah, that's, like I said, very high integrity. That's why I love working with you guys. And then delivery times are pretty fast. I see that it's anywhere between 2 and 4 days for most parts of the world, or in US.
Yes. So we have 2 offices, one here in Prague and one in San Francisco. Our fulfillment center is in San Bernardino. From there, we ship to the whole world, and yeah, we are able to have like 2-day shipping or 3-day almost worldwide. Yes.
Okay, very cool. And yeah, if anyone is interested in purchasing this unit, we do offer a 10% discount through our special link. And I know, like, during the holidays and everything, we get a better deal, but by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be 10% because Black Friday will be over at that time. So yeah, anyone who wants to really improve the quality of their health, and also, like, the other thing a lot of people don't talk about with radiation is sperm counts are really much affected. So, like, I think it was like a study, like a 60-year-old man in 1980 had like the same sperm count as like a 20-year-old now, which is just absolutely wild to even hear. And I guess that's why fertility and everything is going down. It's becoming more challenging. Fetus and childhood development, is affected by radiation, lowering brain function, that brain fogginess that you talked about earlier, plant health. The quality of our life and the quality of our overall health is made up of every single one of those trillions of cells working harmoniously together. And when each one is like damaged, it's like they all go to war and they all get like injured, and then now they're trying to come back and try to rebuild your life. But it's really hard to function when your cell quality is not optimal. So I thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Juraj. You're really an amazing guy, and I love the mission of this company. So the final kind of question I'll ask is, why do you think you came here to Earth as Juraj? What did you want to experience?
Well, you're asking great questions. So when I was thinking about it lately, because I get to meet some interesting people and interesting, let's say, cutting edge technologies that will, and I mean, are already, but will have quite a substantial effect on our society. So I think what I came to, and I'm really excited about that, to experience these technologies and the changing of the society thanks to technology, but applied in a good way. But not only technology, but also the mindset and everything. So yeah, to experience the shift and change in society in a nutshell, and to be present with it and to be with some of the projects.
Beautiful, man. What a great opportunity for you, because you're already there and you have so much more to share with the world. What's next for the company and what is your vision for its future?
Yeah, so currently we are D2C company, like direct to consumer. But what's my biggest mission for next year is getting Somavedic into our working environments. Because to office buildings, to co-working spaces, to health and wellness clinics and hospitals. So to bring more energy and vitality to place where we spend most of the times it's work. So yeah, to bring Somavedic to as many working environments as possible. So if anybody would be interested, yeah, to help us with that, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. And as an affiliate, I am planning on spreading the word far and wide about you guys. Thank you so much for all you do and for this amazing company. I have to tell you, the team that you work with, they're just wonderful people. Veronica, who I mentioned before, is just an absolute doll. So yeah, I thank you guys. And if you're ever in Jersey, come visit Om Life over here in right across from Manhattan.
Definitely will do. Thank you, Anand, for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.